Two BRIC countries may be taking a step closer to dropping the dollar. Now, after a meeting at the Eastern Economic Forum, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that they want to use national currencies for bilateral trade. Now, last year, trade between Russia and India was up by 17%, and according to the two leaders, could triple by 2025. So to break this all down and what this means for the United States and the dollar, we turn to Boom Best co-host Christy I. Thank you so much for joining us, Christy, on this issue. Okay, so why is trade growing at such an accelerated speed between Russia and India? What do the two countries have to offer each other?
Well, right now, Prime Minister Modi's center of focus is energy and commodities. He's trying to take advantage of the very low global oil prices that we're seeing and also trying to diversify into the natural gas and liquefied natural gas industry, which is what Russia is known for. So at the Eastern Economic Forum, those two have made very crucial deals in regards to defense, shipping, and most importantly, commodities at the center of it.
Well, and what does India have to offer? We know what Russia has to offer India. They want to diversify, but what can they offer to Russia as kind of a part of this partnership?
They have structured multiple deals in exploring the Arctic region and opening up the Northern Sea Route, which has become increasingly crucial in terms of the commodities trade. The Eastern Sea Route is going to definitely strengthen their position and is also going to be quickly becoming the next Suez Canal in becoming like the crucial commodities transports for doing shipments in that region. That they are estimated to ship over 18 million tons of commodities within the next upcoming year.
Well, and with so much controversy about the pipelines going through Germany and going through Europe, this makes it look like this is an easy deal to get around that. And so it begs to question, though, is India the only one that Russia has to worry about in negotiating that sort of travel space?
Obviously, there is a lot of interest in this, and right now Russia has a head start. In fact, President Putin said that this is a first priority for Russia and is incentivizing many companies to try to open up this route with very significant tax breaks going into next year.
Well, it's going to be interesting with the oil. Now, let's get back to the dollar here. When it says national currency, what is it referring to? Whose national currency?
It is going to be both. So this is going to be referring to the rupee-ruble trade. And this is something that they have been actually working on since last year when there was a multi-billion-dollar defense deal on the line, and Russia was under U.S. sanctions. So because of this, they thought that it would be wise of them to implement this rupee-ruble trade starting from last year, and that has significantly strengthened. And now in Russia, you see the reserve currency basket. 42% of the reserve currency is now denominated in euros at the expense of the dollar. The dollar has fallen to about only a third, and the most significant upcomer is the rupee, as a lot of the trade with India is now denominated in the rupee.
Well, that's very interesting. Okay, so what would this mean for the dollar? You said there's obviously a large reserve currency in Russia, but other countries. What would this mean if it became actually a full-blown trade, and for the dollar as well as other currencies in the world that might be doing business with Russia? Is this going to be what they're all going to do now?
Well, right now, the dollar is still the most significant reserve currency in the world. It is the most valuable. And because of this, it has some very special privileges that other currencies aren't privy to. It has liquidity and it has the access to capital, two things that are very, very crucial. And these are very real privileges because we see in Argentina, they're suffering from a short-term liquidity crisis because they can no longer access the financial markets because they are at the expense of the dollar. The peso has weakened significantly against the dollar. So because of this, the dollar has a very good position. But up until recently, people are now concerned that because of this and Trump's position and policies, he has kind of weaponized the dollar. And so countries are now afraid, and they're thinking, what kind of autonomy do we have as a country if we are held at the whims of President Trump and the dollar if he chooses to weaponize it? Would we be at a trade disadvantage? So because of this and many of Trump's policies, many countries are now choosing to move away from the dollar because they see vulnerabilities in being too overly dependent on it.
So from a global economic standpoint, is it better to have diversity where every country has its own form of currency that they're trading in, or does it make more sense that we have one united front of one united currency?
Obviously, having one united currency does make trading and liquidity and access to capital easier. People do have that biasism. However, at this point in time, we were in a unilateralism community probably about a decade ago, but now under the current policy, we have shifted to more protectionist policies. And unlike previous decades, the new sanctions that have been enforced are not in agreement with each other. Before, they had the support of allies. The allies supported every single sanction that was implemented. They supported all of the policies that were implemented. But because now we're going into almost a protectionist cycle, and every single country is now worried about their own currency, the state of their own economies, and it's more so going away from this multilateralism community that we've grown so accustomed to in decades.
It's almost like America first has now become my own, insert
My
country
own
here
country
first, my own
exactly.
country first. That could be a positive and a negative. Christy, thank you so much for going in detail with us.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.